5% of the world population, so majority of you probably haven't, but only a small subset of people develop these diseases that are associated with EBV. EBV is associated with infectious mononucleosis, which you may know as mono, but it is also associated with several cancers, such as Burkitt's lymphoma, gastric carcinoma, nasopharyngeal carcinoma. And lately, a very strong link with autoimmune disorder called multiple sclerosis has also been identified, which I will talk a little bit more about. Now, on the left, you can see one of the very first images of EBV in infected cells. So what you can see is these are like white blood cells, B cells, and little black dots in the middle. And that is basically an EBV virion. So this is what it actually looked like upon close-up shot of it. And on the right is a schematic of what is considered or is contained in the viral structure of EBV. Here, in my grad studies, we employ several different techniques to carry out our research. So some of them include, well, this is called a biosafety cabinet, and this is very important for virus-related work or any cell culture work, which allows you to separate your virus or cell culture work from your regular bench, so you don't contaminate your regular bench area. So we spend a lot of time here working on cultured cell lines and obtaining virus or giving virus to cells. Here is a Western blot apparatus, and this is very basic technique as well as tool that we use in molecular biology and biochemistry to separate proteins. So here you can see the gel front, however the proteins will be separated throughout the gel to identify using different methods afterwards. Here is a protocol I'm following to get DNA or grow DNA, which I will then use to inject in cells to get proteins of, well, my proteins of interest, which I can then use to study for various purposes. So in my PhD, I basically found several cellular proteins that inhibit viral active replication. And I found this group as well as this group of proteins that play a role in downregulating the expression of this gene. And this gene is very important for the switch of EBV from its latent cycle to a very active productive lytic infection. As some of you know, I was away in August because I was back in Toronto to defend my thesis. And so here's a picture from my thesis defense that my husband took, where I was presenting my research, and which was followed by an exam, which I thankfully passed. So we had celebrations that were set up by my lab members afterwards, just helping celebrate the culmination of my studies in the lab, and a little celebration at home for my parents who got this cake for me. Okay, so after finishing my PhD, I'm now a postdoctoral fellow in the Department of Medicine at the University of Alberta. And this lab studies multiple sclerosis, which is a disease whereby the immune system mistakenly attacks our central nervous system. And some of the symptoms include vision problems, muscle weakness, fatigue, balance, and cognitive issues. Unfortunately, there's no cure for MS yet, and it affects 2.9 million worldwide, and in Canada, more than 90,000 people are affected by this disease. What is also unfortunate is Alberta has one of the highest rates of MS in Canada, and about 340 people out of every 100,000 Albertans are affected by this disease. What is interesting is that EBV has been long implicated in MS, and it is considered to be a risk factor for contributing to this disease. And this is where I come in, because my expertise in EBV can help with this project that I have taken on, which is understanding how EBV affects multiple sclerosis. So hopefully in the next few years I can give you some more information about this. But my job has just started and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really excited to be a part of it, to be honest. Okay, so my career path has basically been in molecular biology and microbiology, medical research, and science communication. And I chose this path because of my curiosity about how life works, my passion for improving human health, and my desire to bridge science and community. And my work serves the Rotary focus of disease prevention and treatment, whereby I'm working to reduce the causes and effects of disease and combating major illnesses. Okay, so my connection to Rotary. I first found out about Rotary Foundation through visiting someone's LinkedIn profile, and I got very curious. So I decided to apply to my local Rotaract club at that time, which is the Rotaract Club of Toronto. I started off as a general member at the beginning and was part of different committees, including professional development and community service. Later on, I joined the newly formed DEI, or Diversity, Ethics, and Inclusion Committee, where I shortly after became a chair of the committee. And together, I worked with our club president, Laura Vales here, and we basically worked together to put different documents into place at the beginning, which included the Code of Conduct, ethics policy, and the ethics concern forms, which can be found on the club documentation website. So after having this position, I took a little bit of break because I was trying to finish my PhD. And so after moving to Edmonton, I decided to come back to volunteering, and I knew that I would want to join a Rotary Club. So I'm really happy to be joining you guys at the Edmonton West Club, and I'm thankful to Bruce for sponsoring me into this club. And within a short period of time, I'm very grateful to have been part of many amazing opportunities and to meet so many few people and participate in so many different events over the year. In particular, I have been part of tree planting, the golf fundraiser, our highway cleanup, bike repair, riverboat cruise, Pure Later, Tackle Hunger, as well as a food bank this past weekend. I've also been fortunate enough to serve as your public image director for this year, where my job is basically helping improve how we communicate within the club and sharing all the great things that we're doing with the wider community, and hopefully bringing in more members as well. And while I still have the stage, I would request those of you who haven't followed our social media accounts to please follow the Rotary Club of Edmonton West on your favorite social media platform. I would also like to thank Anne and Annie and Rob as well for Annie for basically organizing these community events, helping me, teaching me more about our club, off hours, and taking different photos for our different events that we put on and helping me put them on the websites, as well as Rob for recording our meetings and helping me with uploading them to YouTube, where we're starting to gain a little bit of traction, which is great. Okay, so I chose Rotary because it's important for me to be involved in community service and engagement for my own fulfillment. I also joined it for my own professional development as well as community building. And what I bring is my knowledge of science and my communication and teamwork skills. What I hope to gain from Rotary are friendships and service opportunities. So when I'm not working or volunteering, my current interests include reading books, gardening, cycling. I'm trying to be more active, but whenever I can, I do ask my husband to come and we go bike riding, and also exploring Edmonton and beyond. So lastly, I would like to end with some words that aligns with the values of Rotary, which I really strongly stand by as kind of motto for my own life, is in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Thank you.
Any questions? Where did you meet your husband and what does he do?
I met him online last year actually, and soon after we decided to get married. He is a biosafety officer for the Alberta Health Services.
Which?
Alberta Health Services,
No.
biosafety officer.
Good.
Yeah. So we work close by, we go to work together, we come home together, which is great. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Is he gonna be a Rotarian?
I have asked him to, and he did attend one of the Pure Later Tackle Hunger event to volunteer with us. I've been trying to get him to be a little bit more involved. He does do a lot of other extracurriculars for himself, so maybe in some time. Yeah.
Any other questions? There's going to be a test in about 5 minutes.
Mama, can you explain, I've heard the term postdoc fellow, but
Yeah.
I've never quite understood what it is. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So postdoctoral studies basically means you have completed your PhD, and next step is basically getting training to be independent scientists and independent researchers. So in grad school, basically we are more heavily supervised, we are told what type of projects to take on, where the direction will go. Postdoc is more about understanding how to develop projects for yourself. Where can you take this project? What is interesting? So more independent thinking and independent research, and your supervisor, instead of supervising you, they basically guide you to be independent. So that's the difference. And grad school is anywhere from 5+ years, and postdoc basically is contract based. So 1 year, people usually do anywhere from 3 to 5 years to